Kenny Payne was a horrendous head coach. He's one of the best assistant coaches that college basketball has seen in the last 30 years. He's back on the sidelines with Cal. And I think that's something that we can't overlook, his impact of keeping guys together as far as from a culture perspective and just calming guys down, because I think people can get pent up playing for Cal. Kenny Payne's a solid pillow there to go back to in his office and like talk guys down. So I think that was a massive addition to his staff, getting Kenny back in the fold.
Definitely a great assistant coach who's probably appreciative to be back with John Calipari. Kentucky is the team that Cal left behind. They have a new coach. A Pope has landed in Lexington, Randolph Childress. When you look at Kentucky, I mean, the whole point of Cal moving on, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on them, certainly to make a move, and you could call it what it was. Certainly Cal, I know, ends up going on its own, but in your opinion, is the program in any better shape today with this roster with Mark Pope at the helm?
I mean, the favorite son comes home. I mean, listen, he's got to be given a chance to bring his own guys in and put his thumbprint on how he wants his program to be. It's unfair to it's just part of the job. You're going to compare him to Cal. You ran Cal out, but one thing I do like that he's done, this team is older. His team comes in, they're going to shoot the crap out of it, and they're really, really old. So they're going to have a chance. The only concern that I have with this team, or one of the concerns I have, is late clock. What are you going to do if you're going to? I'm a firm believer in you got to be able to put the ball in someone's hand and say, "Take me home." And you can't scheme it all the time. And when the threes that we talked about with Alabama, when they have Mark Sears, when the threes aren't falling, who does Kentucky put the ball in their hands and say, "Hey, late clock, go get me a bucket"? It's the only thing I have concerns about early on for Mark Pope's squad.
Let's get Terrence's thoughts on Kentucky, and then we got to move on and talk about Ole Miss next, because Chris Beard not expected to do much this year, but I just would not be shocked.
Dude, they're good. Ole Miss to the second weekend. I'm going Elite Eight, but we're still on Kentucky.
Are you really? Okay.
I love Ole Miss this year. Second year, Chris Beard.
Tell me about Kentucky from your perspective.
Hey, look, I think, Mark Pope coming home, he understands the job one. I think that's really important. I'm going to try to keep this one quick. But I love the puzzle piece fits with all of these guys. Who's going to be that playmaker is a concern. I think Jackson Robinson can really step up into that role. He had a great year last year under Pope at BYU, right at 14 a game. You look at some of these other guys, they're going to be able to run these offenses, these zoom actions, everything that Pope likes to run. He's got the right guys in the right spot. You got Lamont Butler, who's arguably the best lead guard defender in college basketball. People forgot about Kirk Kriisa for God knows what reason. He went to Morgantown. Nobody knows he's alive anymore. Let's bring back Kirk Kriisa. And then I do feel like they have enough talent. This is a really good team that fits really well together. Andrew Carr was a good pickup from Wake Forest. Kobe Brea was the best shooter in Division I basketball from three. I think he shot like 47% from three. That's astronomical. That's asinine. That's amazing. That dude's good. And they have guys that are just that good, in my opinion. It is the antithesis of everything that Calipari was. This is a lot of older players and older pieces and freshmen that aren't necessarily five-star kids, but at the same time, they're guys that love Kentucky and understand what Kentucky is. I can play at Kentucky for 4 years. Those are the guys that he's gone after. And I think that's kind of the mark of something different during the Mark Pope era.